Welcome back to Cossy Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. These are the 5 things we learned from Arsenal to Chelsea to at the Stamford Bridge. Great game, great point gain, but there are a couple of things that Arsenal have to work on. And there are a couple of things that we saw in this game, and I thought this team was actually really, really good at them. In this one, let's dive into the positives and the negatives of that fixture. And of course, in the comment box below, I want to know, do you think Arsenal are struggling to score goals? Do you think Arsenal are struggling to create chances this campaign? I mean, it is not fluid. We all know that. It is not as good as it was last campaign. We all know that as well. But are we struggling to score goals? Are we struggling to create chances? This campaign, Arsenal have scored only 18 goals. I wouldn't say really only, because that means we are scoring 2 goals per 90. We have played 9 games and we have scored 18 actually. That means we are scoring 2 goals per game. However, Arsenal have conceded 8 goals as well. So it means we are conceding a goal per 90 and we are only surpassing our conceding rate by 1 goal. It doesn't look good. It doesn't really good. But I want your thoughts in the comment box below there. Do you think we are struggling with creativity? Let's get into it, right? Let's start off with that big point of Arsenal and the winning mentality. I mean, you've got to talk about it. Arsenal getting back to level terms with Chelsea at the Stamford Bridge. It was remarkable. It was purely remarkable. And I think Mauricio Pochettino will be very angered and very disappointed with the boys. On the other side, Mikel Arteta has got every reason to be happy, has got every reason to thank the boys. We didn't deserve anything in that game. But we've already talked about it. We've already said that if you want to win the title, if you want to win silverware, there are 2 things you do. Number 1, you've got to play well and win games. Number 2, you've got to win games when you don't play well. And that is what Arsenal have done in the last 2 fixtures. Or probably, we could say, that is what we've done all this campaign. I mean, the last time we played very well probably was last campaign. I cannot really say Arsenal have had a very good game in the Premier League this campaign. Out of the 9 performances, yeah, maybe I can, give Arsenal some break. But I'm telling you, this season we are not actually playing as well as we did last campaign. But the positive here, guys, is that is the winner's mentality. That is the never give up mentality, the never die, the never say never mentality. And we have seen it with Declan Rice, we have seen it with Leandro Trossard, we have seen it with Reece Nelson, we have seen it with Ben White. All these players share something. They don't lose a game unless it is over. And Mikel talked about it one of the days when we were talking about the UEFA Champions League. I think it was against FC Lens, reaction. And he said, what we want to do this campaign is if we don't win a game, we don't lose. And that's what happened yesterday. Arsenal did not win, but we did not lose the game. There are not so many teams in the Premier League right now. I think it's only Man City and Liverpool, plus Arsenal, obviously. Those are the only 3 teams you can guarantee that when they got 2 goals down, they will come back, they will draw, or they will pick up a point. And last weekend, this weekend actually, it has been Luton Town. They came back from 2-0 down away from home against Nottingham Forest to make it 2-2, which was pretty much embarrassing. And Arsenal, again, coming from 2-0 down to make it 2-2 against Chelsea. So for me, listen, if we go on to win the title, the mentality is right. If there is any ingredient we have in stock, in plenty, when it comes to title winning and being title contenders, it is the right mentality. It is not over until it's over. We could have won that game. I think Edin Kotia had a very good chance through on goal after we had scored a second. We could have won that game out of barely nothing. And we picked up a point in that game out of nothing, because at minute 77, we were all giving up. I was giving up. I thought it's over. And the team kept on going. We are still unbeaten in the Premier League. We are still unbeaten away from home in the Premier League. Or actually, we are unbeaten away from home in all local competitions. That's the FA, Carabao Cup, Community Shield, and as well as the Premier League. So Arsenal have done very well in terms of maturity, in terms of making sure that the team actually grows. Yeah, there are things we've got to work on, especially this season. The draws are too many, and I'll talk about that. But let's go with the positive first. Let's go with the positive. The positive is the team picked up a point where we didn't deserve. We picked up a point against a very hard team, a very hard manager in Mauricio Pochettino. Point number 2, and the second lesson that Mikel Arteta has got to talk to the boys about, they've got to work on this in training and behind closed doors as well. The creativity issues have resurfaced. The creativity issues have purely resurfaced. In that game, I want to be honest, there were 2 good chances. One was assisted by their goalkeeper, by Chelsea's goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez, and the other was assisted by Saka to Leandro Trossard. 2 chances, 2 good chances. How many chances did Chelsea have? They had the Cole Palmer header, which was set up brilliantly. It could have gone into the back of the net if Saliba doesn't stop it with his hand. They had the second goal, which I thought was kind of lucky, but it was a chance and it went into the back of the net. But then still, they had I think it was Cole Palmer who had snatched the ball away from our goalkeeper. They also had Nicholas Jackson 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, and again, our goalkeeper did very, very well. Chelsea created more chances than Arsenal. And this is embarrassing because we are creating less chances than Manchester United this season. We are creating less chances than the likes of, I wouldn't say Luton Town, but we are really low on the table of chance creation and creativity. And why we are creating less, we need answers, right? Because people have said it is Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz is now out of the team, and it's one of those games where we saw Kai Havertz, like, he doesn't start, and Arsenal struggle. And Kai Havertz comes into the game, and there's some bright sparks. There are some bright sparks from Kai. You could see him running. He was playing as a number 10, and he was actually doing very, very well. So for me, Mikel has got to work on this. I don't want to blame anyone, and I'm not going to blame anyone. I don't think Arsenal are really going to finish the whole season with all these issues. We just need to find a way. We need to find a way of, creating chances. We need to find a way of getting our strikers into goal-scoring positions, right? Gabriel Jesus, in my opinion, is being suffocated right now. He is in a drought of chances. It is the same thing with Eddie Nketiah. We abuse them. Personally, I do abuse Eddie at times. Not really abuse, but criticize. That's the right word. But we've got to ask the question, are we creating enough chances for Eddie? Are we creating enough chances for Gabriel Jesus? Are we creating enough chances for the likes of Kai Havertz, players that have actually been brought in to score goals? I don't think we are creative. I don't think this team is creating enough chances. Whether that is that is courtesy of us trying to create a balance between offensive and defensive, well, Mikel knows better. But you cannot defend that well and don't score goals, okay? I mean, we don't want 0-0s and we don't want draws. This campaign, Arsenal have already drawn 3 games out of 9. The whole of last campaign, Arsenal drew 6 games. It is only 9 games into the campaign, and Arsenal have already drawn 3, actually half of the games we've drew last campaign. It is not good enough. It's simply not good enough, and the creativity is not there. We need to score more goals, right? I was talking to Glenn on the channel last time, and he was actually telling us that Arsenal have actually conceded less goals, and they have scored less goals, right? We've scored less and conceded less. That is brilliant. That's nice. That's very nice. But it doesn't guarantee you a safe, healthy run against Man City. Man City have already lost 2 games this campaign, and I tell you, Man City have the same number of points as Arsenal with a better goal difference. So we've got to work on our creativity. We've got to work on our goal creation and chance creation as well. My third lesson is we ghosted until 77 minutes. We ghosted for 77 minutes. We got a lucky chance. We buried it through Declan Rice, and we woke up. Now, that is not a problem. Like I said in my first point, it is winner's mentality. You don't give up. It's a game where you didn't play well, and you pick up a point. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But there are 2 things to be concerned about here. Number 1, how many clubs in the Premier League will allow you come back from 2-0 down at 77 minutes? If it was Brighton, do we win the game? No. If it was Newcastle, do we win the game? No. If it's Man City, do we win the game? No. If it's Liverpool, do we come back? No. If it is if it is I don't know who has the best defense in the Premier League this campaign. If it is Aston Villa this campaign, do we come back? No. So in my opinion, Arsenal are ghosting in games. We are ghosting in moments in games. We did that against FC Lens. We did that against Fulham FC in the Premier League. And we also did that for some momentarily, for some moments against Tottenham Hotspur, especially in the second half. It is not sustainable. It is clearly not sustainable. You cannot ghost in games. You cannot ghost for 70 minutes, 90 minutes. What? You cannot be ghosting in games. We need to treat... I mean, listen. The momentum cannot be the same, right? You cannot play at a higher intensity in the first 30 minutes and then keep up the intensity throughout the game. That's what I would say. How about we learn game control? How about we learn something very easy or very difficult for us called game management? And what is that? Game management is when you are not in possession, when you are in possession, but you're not actively, or you're not, a threat. You're not an active threat. Man City do it all the time. The times when Man City are actually, 0-0, but they're not attacking you. They're not trying to, score. They're trying to, kind of keep possession and plan. I don't think Arsenal do that. I think we have really ghosted in many minutes in games this campaign, and we've been lucky to walk away with a point. In some games we've been lucky to walk away with 3, but ghosting in games, guys, is something that will cost us. Ghosting in games is something that will cost us. It will cost us. I mean, there's so many teams out there, UEFA Champions League, Premier League, that are sure when they lead 2-0, it's game over. When they lead you 2-0, it's purely game over. So we ghosted, and I hope we actually don't ghost again. My lesson number 4, Mikel Arteta nearly screwed the team with his decision making yesterday. He absolutely is a lucky guy. He's a very, very lucky guy. And why I think he's a very lucky guy is he makes a mistake in his first team selection. He makes a mistake in his first substitutions, and then he redeems himself with the last substitutions. When he brings on Trossard, when he brings on Tommy and all these. I think Mikel needs to understand one or two things. One, playing your best team wins you games. Playing your best 11 guarantees you points, and we want to be guaranteed points. We want to get points guaranteed, as simple as that. I think as a manager, he's overthinking things at times. Partey, Declan, Odegaard, that should be the order. Or Rice, Kai Havertz, Martin Odegaard. As simple as that. That is our best midfield when we don't have Fabio Vieira, in my opinion, right? So when he wants to play Jorginho, when he tries to play Jorginho, I understand why he tries to play Jorginho, because again, Jorginho, game controller, he's a good guy on the ball, but in this game, it was atrocious. He was atrocious. He was very, very poor. He was very poor, and the decision making very poor. So Mikel, for me, he's a little bit stubborn, but he's got to improve his decision making. When you look at the team straight on, and you're like, Jorginho is not playing well, Zinchenko is not playing well, take them off. As simple as that. Take them off, and when you do, the game will change. Kai Havertz comes on, the game changes. I like the way he took off Martin Odegaard, because Odegaard had a bad game. He was poor on the evening. He takes him off. No one says, why is Odegaard coming off? Because Odegaard had a very poor game. So we've got to talk about it. We've got to understand that Mikel's decision making has to improve. It's the same as the last point. We got a great game, a great point. It was gained. We can now focus on the next game, but we're drawing too many games, and this is courtesy of Mikel Arteta. This is courtesy of Mikel Arteta. You don't have to wait until as many minutes as they are in the game for you to make substitutions. You could easily see 2-3 players are not playing well. You can take 2 of them off the pitch, and then you can change things. I don't like the way we are drawing games, because in the Premier League right now, we have dropped 6 points. Man City have dropped 6 points. They don't have their unbeaten run. We have our unbeaten run. They're on top of the table. So look, ideally, it means that Arsenal can finish third unbeaten. If we keep on drawing as many games as there is, we will be unbeaten, right? But we will lose. We will lose the title challenge. So I don't like the number of draws. I don't like the number of draws. I think they're becoming many. We have drawn 3 games in 9. Last season we drew 6 games in 38. Right? We need to find ways of winning games early. We need to find ways of winning games 20 minutes, 30 minutes. This game, this season actually, Arsenal led at halftime against Nottingham Forest and we won the game. We led at halftime against Bournemouth and we won the game. We also led, I think Crystal Palace, I think we got a goal in the second half, probably, right? Probably. So we are leading very less games and we are winning less games as well. Like, we are not the team that you knew we were. We could lead at 20 minutes, lead at 30 minutes, and go on to win the game. Spurs, we bottled it. Man City, we won it at the end. Man United, we won at the end. So we need to win games early, and we need to stop making these draws because they are many and they are actually ridiculous. I'll see you right in the next one. Speak to you in a bit.